Hi everyone, welcome back. It's been a while since I had a video, but I've got some time in my craft room, and my plan for the new year is to start on some spring journals. So what I am going to do is I am going to refurbish, reuse, recycle some binders. So I picked these up a while ago. They're just empty binders, and this one has the mechanism on the side so that when you close it, it's on actually the back of the binder itself. It's not on the spine like a lot of binders are. So I picked this one up, and I like the size. This one happens to be, this is a good size that I like anyways. So this is kind of like an 8 by, this is an 8 by 10.5. So this is going to be like a little bit larger one. This is a good one. And I like the size of the spine on it and the amount of papers and pages I will put in here. So we are going to cover these. I'm going to cover all of these and make some journals. I'll go through them, but this is one binder. This one here is a 1976, I think I saw. Yes, copyright 1976. This is one of those educational plants for the home. So they each kind of have like a card in it, and you know, it tells you all about it. So I am going to empty this out. Definitely will use all of this content. Will make great journaling cards. You know, back them up with something, make pockets, lots of things with these. So this will get taken out and it will get reused. Then I am left with the same style. The mechanism is on the back of the binder, and the cover goes over it like this. I like this. This is a nice square size. This one is 7 by 7 3/4. So this will make a really nice journal. So we will cover this. Then I had two, you know, just plain vinyl, everyday, like school type binders. And what I did is I should have did it on camera, but I didn't think to do that. But, you know, it's covered in plastic and it's all put together. The actual spines of them are just actually heated vinyl that attaches all three pieces together. That's really all it is. So I just took my X-Acto knife and I just took off the plastic covering, and what you're left with is the thick chipboard covers, the front and the back. It happens to be this one. I had a hard time getting this rivet out, so I ended up destroying the chipboard spine part. No problem, I have lots of chipboard. So I will cut a spine, plus this spine was a smaller one, because I think they were only like a 1-inch binder. They weren't as wide as these. This one's a 2-inch, and then this one is probably 2-inch. Yes, so those are both 2-inch spines, which is a good size. This one I don't think was a 2-inch, but nevertheless I will make a new spine for this. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I am going to attach the mechanism back to the back of the binder, or back of the journal after I create the journal, just like this. Now, this style has a what they call like a D-ring closure. This one is just round. It's just a round one like this. So you can do it either way for either style. So this one I am going to attach to the back. And the reason I'm going to is because these binders are much easier to open and close than it is if it's on the spine, in my opinion. So I will make a chipboard spine for this one, and we will create a journal with this. Then, same thing with this one. I cut all the vinyl off it, and I have my 3 pieces. Same thing here. I will have 3 pieces. Now, I can choose to put this one right back on here if I wanted to and have a middle one, or I will put it here and I will have the, you know, the same type of cover, kind of what, you know, it'll be attached to the back. So let's get started on these projects, and I will videotape along the way. So I think what I'm going to start with is the easier of them all. And actually, let me just talk about this for a second. See, here's a spine here of a vinyl notebook, but I haven't taken out the actual rivet yet of these, so I'll probably end up just pulling this off. But there are lots of different sizes, so if you see, you know, old binders or different, you know, like these types of books or cookbooks that are destroyed, but you could still save the mechanism and make your own journal. So just know that you can do that. So I've picked a few fabrics here that I think I'm going to do for these. Actually, I just showed you 4 cover sets, so I'll probably find another material, but one of them will probably be like a spring Easter. And I have this really pretty fabric here. Let me zoom down just a tad. So I have this pretty spring cotton fabric here, and it has 2 bunnies on it, and then there's one that peeks out here, so it's kind of a repeating, and then there's one here. So I think I will make one cover out of that. Excuse me. And then I have this. This is actually a flannel. So I think it would be really fun to have a really soft flannel cover. And this one happens to be really pretty flowers, blue and pink and purple. So I will use this one. And then I have this really cool old vintage, this is like a children's bedspread, and I love the patchwork, and it's really bright and colorful. So I picked these 2 for kind of pastel-y type journals, and then maybe I will make 2 of them out of this and make them the same. So I will have 2 kind of country quiltish journals covers for this. And this is pretty, you know, it's a thin regular cotton. So that is what I'm going to do. And so let's start with the large one, and I'm trying to decide if I should make maybe this really small one with this one here. I have to also consider any of the color coming through the fabric. So let's pull this fabric out of this one here, get a single layer, and I'm just going to put the single layer over it, and you can see the dark through it. So this will not be a good candidate for this one, although you could take you could paint it, or I think people use gesso. I've never used gesso before, but you could, you know, definitely paint over this. This one here, I think I am, because the print is big, I think I'm definitely going to use it on this bigger one. So I think that I've decided already on that one. So maybe I will make this small one, this, and this has such a busy pattern on it. I don't think, you know, you're going to be able to see through the pictures underneath, but I could always anyways just put paint on it, so it would end that anyway. So at the crossroads at that. And then I have the other 2 journals. So maybe I will just have to paint this because I think I really want this one on here. And then I will make those other 2 journals with that one. So let's get started on covering this one. Now this one, let me zoom back out just a tad so you can see the whole process here. Sorry, bumping you around. This one here, it already has kind of like a more like a burgundy rose color, where this is like a hot pink. And this fabric is going to wrap around, so I'm going to have to cover this with something. So my choice is I can probably take this rivet out, remove it, and then cover both sides with really pretty you know, paper or scrapbook paper or whatever I'm going to use on the inside, and then reattach this. So I'm going to have to remove these rivets here on this one, and of course it's gonna have to, I'll have to have a rivet or a screw. Usually there's like photo albums that have those screws that you can set back in just for like scrapbook albums, or I will put it back in with a different type of screw or mechanism. So I will turn the camera off for that because that's going to be a boring part, trying to remove this rivet, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have removed the binder mechanism from the binder, and you know, just left 2 little holes, which I have to put it back in there anyways. I cut my fabric down to a more manageable size of material because this was several yards and it was pretty large. So I cut it down to a manageable size, and then I am placing my binder on, just trying to see what kind of image, how it will look on the front. So I'm trying to set that up here. That's what I'm doing. So I wanted to make sure I have the 2 big bunnies, this bunny here, and then these 2 bunnies coming out of the flowers. And we will be able to put some fun stuff up here, or a, you know, a book label. And I think this is where I want my front cover to be. So I have chosen that. So I've laid my binder on top of my fabric here, and this is how I want it. So what I'm going to do first is apply some glue all over this and then get it onto my fabric. So I'm just using just some regular white school glue, and I don't want it too thick because I don't want it to bleed through. So I'm just going to hold, I'm going to put my hand inside here so I don't move around where I have it. So I'm just going to do a really light coat of glue around all of my edges, around the whole cover. And again, like I said, I don't want it to bleed through, so I'm just kind of moving my glue around just so that I can cover all of my areas. I don't want to put any more glue on this because this is thick enough glue on it already. I'm just going to the edges. Okay, just moving the glue, and looks pretty good. I can also put glue on the spine here, but I don't want to do that till I do the back. So let's bring this over and lay it on my fabric. Okay, So now I'm going to flip over my book, okay, because I want to smooth out these wrinkles so that I don't have any in the fabric. Okay, so I just want to make sure that, oh, this is going to be really pretty. So I got a little wrinkle right there, yep. Get all the air bubbles out. And I'm just pulling the fabric, and this is such a busy fabric that you can feel if there is a wrinkle. And so I'm just smoothing it out with my hands. This is the spine of the binder. So this feels really good. It's nice and smooth. No air bubbles. And I'm not feeling the glue coming through, so that's really good. Okay, so this is what the cover is going to look like, and I'm very happy with that because I wanted all of these bunnies, especially this one, as a main focus. Okay, so now I'm going to tip it back over, and what I'm going to do is I had already thought about bringing the fabric right onto the inside of this. I mean, because it's just already beautiful. Why use scrapbook paper? So that's why I kind of left it a little extra to cover. So let's glue then the spine area. Where'd my brush go? So let's do some more here. Just want a little bit, I don't want a whole lot on there. Just a thin layer. And we are going to do the spine next. And again, like I said, I want to make sure that I'm getting all of my wrinkles out of each time that I'm gluing down. So I'm turning it back over and I'm pressing down on the spine area. And then of course the spine has a crease, so you can get your bone folder or whatever you have. Let's see, where's my turn? Yep, right here. So I have a little crease right here. You can just make sure that the fabric is in the crease, and that looks really good. Okay, now let's move on to the back side. Okay, so let's pull the fabric back just to the edge there. And let's paint, or not paint, but let's get the glue on the back. And again, I don't want a whole ton, I just want enough to do a light cover, and I think that's plenty. I got some on my bottle here. This is just everyday white glue. This bottle just happens to be from the dollar store, so okay, so just working the glue around. I don't care about that price tag adhesive that's there, so I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about going over these holes because we're going to punch through the fabric when I put the mechanism back on. And I just want to make sure I'm still videotaping. Yep. So I got a little bit extra on this one. So I'm going to try taking some off. Again, remember, I don't want too much glue. I want just enough. Just kind of moving the glue all over. Okay. That looks good. Now we're going to flip it onto the fabric and then flip it over. and then move the fabric so that we get all of the wrinkles out. And this one feels good already. I don't even have any wrinkles at all in this one. This one feels really good. Okay, and there's my spine. Okay. So we have that covered. Just smoothing it out. Making sure my edges are good. I'm not worried about the inside edges yet because I'll do that when I tuck the fabric over the edges. So I'm not worried about that. Just kind of going back over. And this side's almost dry already because it's just such a light film. Okay, so I have all this extra, which I said I'm gonna bring to the inside, but before I start monkeying around with that, I need to decide how I am going to, let me put this here because I don't want this to pull away yet. So I think it would just be really cute to have the cover continue on to the inside. The only thing I'm trying to decide is cutting this edge, so I'm just going to have to do a fold here. So what I need to do is trim this, my bottom off, and trim this excess top, and then we'll work with the sides. So just getting my material all squared here. Let me remove this, and I think I'm going to do it on this side because it's easier. So just getting my fabric to the edge, make sure I have all the fabric to the edges here. Okay, so the easier way to cut it is with a rotary. So I'm just going to, I got stuff on it. I'm gonna do probably, where'd my ruler go? So here's the edge. Let me zoom down a little bit so you can see, sorry. I just want to make sure you can see everything. So right now I have a 3-inch overlap. I don't want a 3-inch overlap, so I think I'm gonna go to like maybe 1 inch to 1.5 inches. I'm going to cut away from the top, and I'm going to cut away from the bottom. So my book is here, 1.5 inches, so I think I'm going to just stick right along this line here. Okay, this is still great to use. I also have to think about my closure. So let's flip this around. Again, same thing on this side. My fabric overlaps, so this side there's a lot more. So let's, again, let's do 1.5 inches to 2 inches, no more than that. Okay, I love this cutter. This cutter has such a sharp blade. Okay, so we've got some scraps to make tabs and whatnot with if we want to. Okay, so now what I have is this. So we need to bring this up first, and I don't have a plan in my head how I'm going to wrap them in, because normally I cut around and just bring in the edges, and then I put another piece of like scrapbook paper, cardstock is what we put over the top most of the time. So this one being that I'm going to do the whole thing in fabric, I've never did this before, so I'm just going with the flow. So first I need to roll in this. So we need to get some glue on the edges here and get this fabric glued up. So I'm going to put some glue through here where the fabric is going to be. Let's spread this out. Now this is where I'm going to do my edges so that the fabric stays on the edge. I want the creases really good. And then we want this edge too. Okay? So we're going to fold this up. And I just want to make sure I'm pulling the fabric around and up so that there's no, you know, lagging fabric underneath. So I'm pushing it to keeping it taut or tight. Okay, so this is just glue. It'll dry. And then I'm going to take my bone folder here and just crease the edge right there a little bit, okay? Alright, so I don't have any, my edges are good. Okay, so we're going to turn it around and we're going to do the same thing on this side. I'll put some glue down. Okay, and then spread it out thin. Do the edges. Getting that crease there. Okay. Looks good. Make sure the crease is good. Alright. And then same thing, I'm going to put the fabric up. And I'm just going to push it. So I don't have any creases or wrinkles. Pushing in there. Okay. Now, all right. And my hole is here, so I know I'm upside down. Well, I mean, I can tell this way anyways, but so there's my front cover. All right, so now I've got these two pieces of fabric here left over. Now, the hole is here for the mechanism. I can feel it. So, rather than making a mistake on the front, you know, doing the front first, I'm going to do the back. So, and when you open the cover, I would rather have this be one seamless flow up underneath the mechanism. So, and so basically I will want this to go under. Okay, so I'm going to end up cutting this because this is way too big. I already know this is going to go at least to here, and actually you can take a pencil if you want. I mean, we're covering this, so it doesn't matter, you can write on it. So we know that this fabric goes at least to that far. Probably a little bit in a little bit. So this obviously is way too much. So I at least want this fabric to go past my line here. So I think I'll make it so it's right on this here. So I'm going to take my ruler. I'm going to take my ruler here, and there's my line for this fabric. And I'm just going to go a little bit farther. So right there, just so I know I am going to cut my fabric here and here. Okay, so then I can just kind of eyeball cutting the fabric straight across there. Okay, so there's a nice piece we could use for a fabric flip. It's a nice size. All right, now, so just to measure, we're past there, but I'm not into this crease, so that's good. All right, now the next thing I need to figure out, or we need to figure out because we're doing this together, is how, this is where like geometry comes into play, right? And where you do folds and things like that. So I'm trying to figure out, I don't need all of this excess here, but if I cut it here, I'm not sure if I do, see this is where I'm really hesitant because I don't want like double, well, I'd have a piece here, a piece here, and a piece here. So I don't want like double fabric, even though it's really thin and it would look fine. Maybe that is fine because it doesn't, I mean, this is really thin fabric. So maybe that will work. I was just trying to see how I could do a fold, but I don't think I want to. I mean, because I need to go all the way straight across. Okay, so let's just flow with that. So let's get the glue back out. And how am I going to do this? So I want to glue this piece back onto itself. So I probably need to have this straight. And I'm just probably going to glue like this because I'm following my line on my grid, if you're following along. So I'm just wondering if I should use my Fabri-Tac. So let's use Fabri-Tac. And let's glue on, sorry if I'm leaning in. Oops, my glue is goopy. Okay, so let's put some glue down here. Okay, so let's make a straight line here. Okay, so I'm gluing it onto itself. And you know what? I want to make sure that I have it in this crack. So I want to make sure this is sealed in there good. I want that all the way down there. A good amount of glue in that, where we're going to make a crease here to go over. Sorry if my head was in the way. Okay, so I've got my straight line. Okay, now let's do the same thing for up here. Actually, let's turn it around so I have a better, you know, I can make sure that I'm straight down here because this is what's important. So I want to make sure this is straight. Let's see, I don't want this to be too big. So I want it to line up just right. So I'm not coming over. So I want to make sure. Okay, so that looks good there. Let's get some glue in these corners here, all along here. Okay. So let me cut this off at an angle here on these edges, on this edge before this gets glued down. Okay, so I just kind of cut that at an angle a little bit there. I hope this works, right? All right, so that's why I'm doing the back page, or the back of it first, okay? So now, let's see, I want to put a little bit more glue here along this edge because I want this fabric to stay together on itself here. Okay, I want that to smooth out. Okay, that's good. It's just a little edge here. Oh, missed a big spot there. Okay. All right, now I'm going to put wet glue here in this area, and then I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac, or, well, this is 3-in-1, here. So let's get this on here. Okay, and spread this out. I think I might have went too far to the spine area, but that's okay, it'll dry. And it's okay if I go over the fabric. Get that out of there. And I want to make sure I get my edge. Okay. Got my white glue down. Now I want to get my Fabri-Tac going here. Because I want to make sure my fabric, you know, gets glued to the fabric really well. I can always squeeze some more in the edge here if I need to. Okay. I do want to spread that out a little, just so I don't have any glumps. Okay. Now, let's bring this over. Okay. Smooth it out. I'm just kind of pulling the, just kind of pulling it. I can always add some more glue to the edges here. Oh, this is going to be so cute. So I've got a bubble here. Get that glued down. There we go. Okay, so let's get some glue in the corner here. Okay, some raveling here. Looking good. All right, so now just rub some of these areas down here. All right, let's take a look at our edge. So I want to make sure I'm pulling it down, because this is what I didn't want, was this. So that's what I didn't want to happen. So, let me see if I can pull it. Okay, I'm going to pull it back. Whoops, taking the paper back. That's okay. I'd rather have the edge. And this is what I wanted to learn. This is what I wanted to make sure I didn't have, was this in the corner. So let me put some glue back here. Let's re-glue this. So this is what I didn't want to happen to the front. So I want to pull this fabric really close to the edge. Okay, so lesson learned. I want to make sure I do that to the front. Just make sure that there is no excess on this edge of the book or the journal. Okay, got to get these edges out. Okay, so I pulled the fabric. So this is not as easy as it looks. So I wanted to keep my seam along the bottom there. Okay, and then I wanted to keep this seam even too, so just pull that back. Your hands are warm, so it kind of helps spread the glue. Okay, there, now I have a tight edge here. So see, that's what I wanted to do the back for, because I didn't want to mess up, of course, the front page. So, okay, there, just ironing out a couple little wrinkles I see here. Very nice. Okay, I love that. I love it. It's the whole thing. Okay. Must be that was 30 minutes because I looked up and the camera had stopped, so I'm not sure how much you saw of that. But I've got a little bit of extra fabric here that I don't want to be in the spine, because I want the spine to be able to bend freely, so I don't want that in there. So I'm just doing some trim here. This is going to come over top of it anyways. Okay, so I'm just trimming that. And just going to put a little bit of wet glue there and glue that down. And this is the one I pulled back, so. Alright, then I'm going to get some fabric fix on this, or Fabri-Tac, whichever you're using. Okay, so I've always used Fabri-Fix, but then they were out of it at the store at Michael's that day that I was there, and so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do 3-in-1, because I see people using the 3-in-1 or the Fabri-Fix, so it's almost the same glue, I think. Okay, so alright, looking good. Okay, now I need to measure, so this is gonna go way over, and my holes are right here. I can still feel them. So I have a nice straight line from where the fabric was already cut from the machine, so I don't have to worry about a jagged edge. So that works perfect. Now the hard part is going to be, again, keeping this straight onto here, but I think I would rather have it be smaller than too long, and then you have it sticking off the edge. This one here worked out just perfect. If you can see here, this seam is just perfect. It's not past, it's not hanging past the book. So this one is good. I will probably take my Fabri-Fix and go and stick a bunch in here just so that it doesn't roll up on you. But I think for this, I want to make sure that I stay onto the cover and I don't go past. So that is what I'm going to be worried about this time. So let's take, again, I want to measure, keep my book square here on this, and I think I want to go a little bit at an angle because I'm nervous that, again, I don't want to go past the book. And by the time you stretch the fabric, see, I kind of want to go at an angle. I would think like this. And then I need to cut, I'm going to cut this at an angle here. And same thing with this one. I'm going to cut that at an angle. Okay. All right. So I'm going to make sure this is got a good amount of Fabri-Fix in it. Or Fabri-Tac. Sorry if I keep saying Fabri-Tac because that's just so used to what I'm having or what I use. Okay. Now, so I'm just going to roll that edge in, put my finger there. And again, remember, we need to make sure that, got to make sure that it stays, and I really want to make sure this stays down good. And I'm almost tempted to use the white glue, only because it's hard to do 100% coverage with this stuff, you know, because it comes out thin. So I'm almost tempted to, and this fabric is so thin. You know, so if you miss a spot, you might have a little bubble, where if you have the white glue, you know, you're not missing anything. Okay, so let's fold this up. Oops, I moved my book, or my journal. This is going to be a journal. So I think I want to fold that up there like that. Because see, you can stretch the material. It's not stretchy, but, I mean, no, there's no stretch to it, but when it gets wet, I'm sure it can stretch. Okay, so now I think I want to do an angle like that too. So let's get in there, get that. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this in a little bit. All right, let's try this out. See where we're at here. Oh, beautiful. Love it. So make sure my corners stay good. And by the time I stretch it, this will be fine. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, let's go with that. I need a little bit more Fabri-Fix glue here on the edge. Looks like I didn't get enough because I want that to stay down. A little bit more here. Sorry, I'm off the camera here, but let's pull it this way a little bit. I just want to make sure this fabric stays down, or is down good, I should say. Okay, now let's get the white glue out. And this time I have to go all the way over. And I will use, let's put this in here. It's okay if I go over because it's going to overlap. Oh, I'm so excited about this journal. This is going to be so cute. Not that I'm ready for spring yet at all by any means, because I'm in Minnesota and right now it's like 50 degrees today, 2 days before Christmas. And I have all my Christmas shopping done. I have everything all done and had a little bit of time to come to the room and just have some me time. So, alright, so there's that. I'm going to put a little bit of, get the air out here, a little bit of my 3-in-1 on here. Make sure this is good along the edges. And right along this edge. I'll make sure that's good. And then I gotta make sure it's in the crease here. And I want to make sure I'm all the way at the edge. Alright. There, the air's finally coming out. Alright. Now, lesson 1 is to do the edge first. So we don't want that to happen again. So I want to make sure that I'm going to roll over my edge so that I don't get a wrinkle. Voila. And I'm pulling the fabric. Okay. Got the edge. Now, I'm sorry, let's do it this way because I have to make sure I can see it straight. Okay. So now I'm just going to do a little at a time, pushing the fabric this way, and I'm good along this edge. Look at that. That's working out great. So I can move the fabric this way. Look at that. That's why I do the back first. Because the back isn't as important as the front, even though it's all important. Okay, there's the crease. Okay, so let's go into this crease here. I got glue on my fingers. Okay, it's still working. Oh, got a little bit of glue stuck on this piece here. It's like Fabri-Tac. Got glued together here. This little piece. Get it unstuck from each other. Okay, that's gonna bother me, so it's almost dry already. So let me take a needle. Let's see if I can't get this to open up there. There we go. It glued right onto each other. Just want to get that opened up because I don't like that. Okay. Alright. God, that's gonna bother me. I don't want to take that whole thing apart. Oh. Okay. Darn it. There's a little piece that's stuck onto each other. Right here. Right there. Okay. There. Oh my gosh. Okay. Sorry. It was just bugging me, and it was right where the seam or the spine was that you're gonna see. So, okay. Retuck that back under. Bring this back. this back over here. Okay. Okay, now I gotta probably put some glue back down here because I tore it all up. Okay. Okay, now let's glue this. Okay. And I do not like that because it's showing the white part of the fabric underneath. So let's trim that. That's why I did it at an angle, so I didn't see that. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, let's glue that down. Okay. Let's do some touch-ups here. Okay. Around some edges. Get a baby wipe. Alright. It's coming together. I'm excited. Alright. So, get this glue off my fingers. Ugh. Okay. Yay. Let's do the creases here. So we bend really good. And then we got this one to make sure we bend good. Look at that. Awesome. Oh, beautiful. Gorgeous. Oh my goodness. I love that. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'll just go around, add some glue to some of these edges that, you know, need the Fabri-Tac. And put it aside to dry. Because it does need to dry. And I'll dry it standing up. So it needs some Fabri-Tac like right here. Along that. Close that up. Yep, and so I'll just go along these little seams and add some extra glue in there so it stays so it doesn't peel back. And see like this here. See like just this little tiny bit where you can pull the seam back that I made. So I'm just going to take some Fabri-Tac and go around the edges and seal it up. How wonderful. Love it. Oh my goodness. This is going to be great. Alright, so that is my step one of making the fabric cover. And I love that. Now the mechanism will go, and you can feel, probably, I can still feel the hole. It's like right here. So the mechanism will go right here. Just like that. Well, it goes this way. So it will go right there. Voila. Yay! Love it. Okay, so join me for the next video where I will do the same process on all the other binders that I have that we're refurbishing, recycling, upcycling. And then maybe I will show you start to finish on this as well, because this was already, you know, it was already a full binder. We're just covering it. Where this one, we're starting from scratch, basically. So maybe I'll throw on the camera when I do this one as well. So that is what I am working on. So I'm just going to let this dry now. And then we'll see the next part. Thank you for joining me today. All right, bye.